not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
All right. So it's that time, isn't it, for a little response video. So while I'm going to give a response now, I don't know the ins and outs of the big propaganda campaigns that have been waged. I am just very familiar with the fact that massive propaganda campaigns have been broadcasted, in which I supposedly feature as the main protagonist, of course without me having any involvement or knowledge of it whatsoever. The state arbiters of this social engineering experiment wanted me to know that they had some big campaign going. So what they did, that they got someone to call me up, really strange phone call, and just asked me if I wanted to buy an engine from 2017, and then just mention some code words, I suspect, and it meant nothing to me other than the fact that something was going on. How on earth do you just call someone up if you want to buy something from a specific year? Like, it's very peculiar. So I'm guessing they're proclaiming that the state arbiters that the program's propaganda campaigns are supposedly from this year. As I say, I don't know the ins and outs of it whatsoever. What I do know as well is that the Trump administration and the so-called free leader of the world himself is not particularly fond of me. I suspect he doesn't like it, and it's funny how I'm supposedly so totally shadow banned and censored. Nobody's allowed to engage with me or anything. I'm just de facto persona non grata, confined to complete isolation indefinitely for the reasons of whatever the propaganda says on that given day. Has been, and I suspect it's because of my tweets, specifically pointing out the contradictions, the lies, deceit of the Trump administration, which had so much promise, which has just shown itself for its true colors. It's just the continuity of agenda. This doesn't make any fucking difference who the president is. That is obvious by now, and it's something that everybody should be able to see for themselves. So when Trump or anybody from his administration makes some preposterous claim, like saying that they won World War II, or saying that the Russians stole the hypersonic missile technology from the Russians, while the Russians are miles ahead from the US in this regard, or proclaiming all sorts of strange things that are obviously not true, that being like the South African narrative of genocide, while an actual ongoing genocide is going on in Palestine. Me, like so many other people, I'm opinionated on these topics because it's just so glaringly obvious that this administration gives zero fucks about people's lives, don't care anything about murder and death, but continuously use it as talking points. I suspect they're trying to appeal to people with a more gullible sense or lower IQ. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to offend too many people, but obviously buying into this kind of propaganda is really appealing to the lowest denominator. It's not sound in any way, shape or form. And I suppose that's why my tweets, and being the subject of this global social engineering experiment, is what has gotten me on the radar of the so-called leader of the free world, telling how much he doesn't like it. I know he's speaking about Putin, but he's intertwining things, isn't he? And I suspect they have also used the programs fake real life Truman Show, as I call it. I suspect they have also used that to create all kinds of propaganda narratives, on top of trying to ridicule and discredit me, of course, intertwining their beef, as it were, with the Russians, who are just clearly superior to the West in regard to their proxy war and just laying waste to Ukraine. And the West, these despots, instead of getting the best compromise possible for the Ukrainians, they want to fight to the last Ukrainian because they care about the Ukrainian lives so much. And the regime in Ukraine, of course, is corrupted beyond belief, so that all of those people in power have a vested interest in the war continuing, despite all the people, especially Ukrainians, dying en masse for no reason other than from the US hegemony standpoint and Western standpoint, or wanting to damage Russia as much as possible, while it not costing them any lives other than a few people here and there. Of course, I'm talking about NATO commandos and mercenaries and the like, but nothing in the numbers of the Ukrainian losses, of course. And they are pleased that they don't have a problem with that. I, for one, have a problem with people dying unnecessarily for the US hegemony. Who wants that? It does nothing but murder and death all around the world, and has done so for decades. So I suppose that's why I'm being attacked, even more than I would be just being still and saying nothing in regards to these things that are going on. So that's kind of gives you a little different perspective from the persona non grata of this world.